Good day, everyone. I go by the name ADOKOH, and we are Group C. We are here to talk about one of the most important topics in operations management, which is called forecasting demand. So, in our presentation, we'll be talking about introduction to forecast demand. We talk about the characteristics of forecast demand. We talk about the steps. We talk about the uses. We talk about the methods and its application. So please, if this is your first time visiting our channel, make sure you subscribe and then you turn on the bell icon so that anytime you drop new video, you'll be the first person to watch. And make sure you drop any comments, any concern about our presentation. When we talk about forecasting, it is the process of making predictions about future events based on the past and the present data. And then when we talk about forecasting demand in an operation management, is the process of making predictions about future demands about a product or a service. So it involves using statistical needs, models, historical data, and other techniques to estimate future sales or production levels. And then forecasts are essential for the smooth operations of business organizations. They provide information that can assist managers in guiding future activities towards organizational goals. And then operations managers are primarily concerned with the forecast of demand, which are often made by or in conjunction with the marketing. However, managers also use forecasts to estimate raw material prices, plan for appropriate levels of personnel, help decide how much inventory to carry, and a host all of the things. This results in better use of capacity, more responsive service to customers, and improved profitability. So we have forecast, and then let's see the characteristics of forecast. How does a good forecast looks like? So we said a good forecast must be accurate, it must be reliable, it must be timely, it must be cost effective, and then it must be easy to use. So when we talk about a good forecast being timely, we mean that the forecast should be timeliness. It should be in a certain amount of time which is needed to respond to the information contained in the forecast, and then it should be accurate. So when we talk about its accuracy, the forecast should be accurate and the degree of accuracy should be stated in the forecast. This will enable users to plan for possible errors, which will provide a basis for comparing alternative forecasts. And then a good forecast must be reliable. The forecast should be reliable because it should work consistently and persistently, and it should be meaningful. The forecast should be expressed in meaningful units, and financial planners need to know how many CDs will be needed in production, and production planners need to know how many units will be also needed, and then it should be in writing. So although writing the forecast will not guarantee that all concerns are using the same information, but it will at least increase the likelihood of it occurring. And then it should be simple. The forecasting technique should be simple to understand and use.
My name is YEBOAH, and today I'll be taking you through uses of forecast. First of all, we use forecast to determine demand. So forecast is used to predict the goods and services that a consumer needs, or that will be needed by a consumer within a period of time, so that we can produce to meet that demand. And the second one is supply chain management. We use forecast to predict the material that is needed by an organization, so that the procurement office can place an order to meet that requirement. Secondly, we use forecast in production planning and scheduling. We use forecast to allocate the resources in the places that it should be, so that we utilize the resources very well. And secondly, workforce planning. We forecast the demand and the need for a particular workforce within a period of time, so we can employ or recruit those workforce at the time is due. Risk management. Forecast again is used to anticipate potential operational risks such as supply chain disruptions and economic downturns. So forecast is used to predict risks that the company may face when there is a condition like supply chain interruption or there is economic turndown. Let's move to the steps in the forecasting process. First, determine the purpose of the forecast. What is the purpose of the forecast and when will it be needed? This will provide an indication of the level of detail required in the forecast, the amount of resources that can be justified, and the level of accuracy necessary. Establish a time horizon. The forecast must indicate the time limit, keeping in mind that accuracy decreases as the time zone increases. Select a forecasting techniques. There are various techniques used for forecasting. They must be evaluated and the best one selected. So based on the purpose for the forecast, you evaluate the technique and you choose the best one that you can use for the forecast. Gather and analyze appropriate data. Before a forecast can be prepared, data must be gathered and analyzed. Identify any assumptions that are made in conjunction with preparing and using the forecast. Point 5. Prepare the forecast. Once the first 4 steps have been considered, one is ready to prepare a forecast. Last point in the forecasting process: monitor the forecast. A forecast has to be monitored to determine whether it is performing in a satisfactory manner. If it is not, re-examine the method, assumption, validate the data.
My name is Daniel AKANLAGM. I'll be talking about forecasting decision and variables. Forecasting decisions and activities are made up of the following. Number 1, the type of forecast, whether it's a demand forecast, a technological forecast, a production forecast, or a sale forecast. Number 2, the time horizon, whether it's going to be a short-term forecast, medium-term forecast, range forecast, or a long-term forecast. Number 3, talk about the database available, whether are you going to base your forecasting based on past data or present data. And number 4, talk about the methodology employed, whether it's a qualitative data or quantitative data. The qualitative data is a non-numerical data, and the quantitative data is a data in the form of figures. The forecasting method. 1, opinions and judgmental methods. These normally come from experts and then specialists, who in their opinions can predict what will happen, whether to the demand or the supply in the future time to come. They consist of the following: forecast by individual salespeople. Number 2, forecast by division or product line management. And number 3, the combination of the two. Historical analogy relies on comparison, relies on the best method from a group of forecasts. All these methods can incorporate experience and personal insight. However, results may differ from one individual to the next, and they are not all amendable to analysis. So there may be little basis for improvement over time. Time series. This is a set of observations of a variable at regular interval over time. In decomposition analysis, the components of a time series are generally classified as trend, seasonal, cyclical. Time series are tabulated or graphed to show the nature of the time dependence. The forecast value is commonly expressed as a multiplicative or additive. So a time series analysis can be in the form of multiplicative or additive. So when it's in the form of multiplicative, we multiply them. Now the T represents the trend, the S represents the seasonal, the C represents the cyclical, and the R represents the irregular. That's multiplicative. And then when you come to the additive, it's the same thing, but we will add the variables together. So we want to look at the meaning of the trend, or the T in the formula. Trend is a gradual long-term directional movement in the data. So sometimes when you are doing data analysis, you will be looking at the trend, whether in the past data it was increasing, the demand was increasing, or the demand was decreasing, or it was stable. And then seasonal, the effects are similar variation occurring during corresponding period. Then talk about the cyclical factor. They are the long-term skewing about the trend line. Last one I will talk about is the exponential smoothing. It is a moving average forecasting technique that weights past data in an exponential manner, so that most recent data carry more weight in the moving averages. With simpler exponential smoothing, the forecast FT is made up of the last period forecast FT minus 1 plus a portion A of the difference between the last period actual demand.
I'm ASAMOAH, and I'll be talking about the application and control of forecast. So, forecast controls. A simple measure of forecast error is to compute the deviation of the actual from the forecast values. Deviations will vary from plus to minus, but they should tend to average out near zero if the forecast is on target. Forecast error is so mathematically, forecast error is actual demand minus the forecast demand. So for example, if the actual demand is, let's say, 5 and the forecast demand is, let's say, 3, then the forecast error will be 2. The individual forecast errors are usually summarized in a statistic such as average error, mean squared error, or mean absolute deviation. That's the MAD. Okay, so forecast should be sufficiently accurate to plan for future activities. So when we talk about forecast being sufficient, meaning since one is forecasting, meaning you are heading, like you are forecasting, as in you are predicting what will happen in the nearby future.
Yes.
So whilst predicting the nearby future, you have to be close. You have to be close. Like you have to believe that maybe it will happen or something. It shouldn't be that. It should be in a sense that it's not possible that you will be able to read there. So I'll continue with the low accuracy methods you may surface. Higher accuracy usually costs more to design and implement. So now I'll talk about the long-term forecast and that of the short-term forecast. So with the long-term forecast, it is used for location, capacity, and new product decision require techniques with long-term horizons. So let me talk about the short-term as well. So with the short-term forecast, such as those for production and inventory control, labor levels and cost controls can rely more on recent history.
So please, if this is your first time visiting our channel, make sure you subscribe and then you turn on the bell icon so that anytime you drop new video, you'll be the first person to watch. And make sure you drop any comment, any concern about our presentation. Thank you.